Hey friend, I hope you're having a good day. And today we're going to go ahead and talk about two of my shots. But before then, I want to go ahead and talk to you about the books that I got recently from a coworker. So if you don't know, I'm a really big reader. And whenever he gave me these books, it just made my day because he actually got me hooked on these books. These books are from the 90s and late 80s. It's a whole series. It's a whole number of books. But basically, he got me hooked on these, so that's why I wanted to show you guys some of them. So this first one right here, it's called Dragons of Kryn. Right there. So this book in itself, I really like it, mainly because it talks about like the whole perspective of dragons, you know, the dragon's perspective, which is something that you usually don't get. And that's also why I want to read this one, The Black Wing. And that's one of the reasons why I want to, go ahead and read all of these, because the Black Wing is also like one of the bad dragons in this whole Dragonlance, Anzalon, this whole Dragonlance universe. And I really want to read about all of this. But he got me a whole bunch of books. All of these are really old, but yet they're really cool because they're based on the characters that I follow from this series. So this one's called Tanis the Shadow Years, which is something that I haven't read, mainly because it is something that happens before the main trilogy, and I haven't been able to read this. Obviously, it's like it says Preludes, the second one, but there's a whole bunch of them basically. But he gave me just a lot of them. And there's this other one also called The Sword and the Chain. This is actually volume 2 right here. This is by an author called Joel Rosenberg. I ended up reading the first one and the second one and the third one, but now I have the second through fifth one to read. So I definitely have my work cut out for me as far as reading all of these books, and I'm super excited to read them. It's going to be awesome. I can't wait to get through all of them, and I will get through all of them probably more than likely by the end of the year, just because I'm usually reading like about, 4 to 5 books a month, if not more. I read anytime that I have, time left over from editing or doing something else. I'm a pretty boring person, so I'll just read, and that's, my escape from reality. And that's that's honestly one of the ways that I ended up getting out of depression besides street photography. But reading is definitely on the top list of my priorities besides, Reggie and life in general. But okay, let's go ahead and talk about two of my photography shots. So for the first one, it's called Chicago Quiet Comfort. So for this shot, it's actually on the Yeti that is leading. So you go through the Lake Michigan, and you end up passing by all these little parks that lead you towards downtown. And what the person that I was traveling with at the time, what we ended up doing is that we ended up renting bikes right before you get to this, Lake Michigan and all that stuff. And we ended up going through that whole, side of Lake Michigan leading towards downtown. So before we got to downtown, we ended up seeing this Yeti that we ended up seeing people, go out there, and we were like, hey, let's just go out there and see what, it's all about. See if maybe we can get a different view from downtown. And we ended up taking a left and gone to this Yeti and went all the way to the very end. And we actually ended up staying there for a little bit because it was so peaceful. It was just, you could just hear the lake, and it sounds like an ocean. Lake Michigan is huge. You're not going to be able to see the other side. It's actually pretty cool. And that's what I liked about it a lot, because, you just feel like you're way outside the city. It doesn't have that heavy, city feel that New York City does. It's just, you feel much more calm in Chicago. Well, in the areas where it's calm. Like this area, for instance. But I wanted to get that leading line of the Yeti going towards the city, and then, just a regular city shot, just an establishing type of shot of, this magnitude of like the whole city. And I didn't end up going to the other side of downtown, so I wasn't able to get another perspective of downtown. So this is like the best perspective that I ended up getting from, this pier, this Yeti. But I really like this shot, and it's a good reminder of great trips that I've had within the past 3 years. Okay, and the next shot, it's called Downtown Leading Lines. So for Downtown Leading Lines, as you guys know, my viewpoint, the thing that I like to see the most in most of my shots is that I like that depth. I like drawing people in with depth. So whenever I first started doing street photography, that's one of the things that I would stick to a lot, is I would just start doing all these depth shots. And this is just one of them. So whenever I went to Chicago, I was like, okay, well, this is all like New York City. I'm going to treat it like New York City and just get depth shots like crazy. So this is one of the shots that I ended up waiting there for a little bit. So the person that I was traveling with, what they would do is that they would, walk around and see stuff and whatnot. And I would just catch up with them later. And basically I was there to get those depth shots. So I ended up staying in that spot for like around 5 to 6 minutes and waited for somebody to come by. And the cool thing is that I was just waiting there, right? And she actually ended up waiting for the red light, right? So she didn't go all the way to the very end. As you guys see, like there's people standing at the light, at the red light, but she ended up stopping where she ended up stopping, which was right in front of me. So maybe like 10 feet away. And that's how I was able to capture the shot, because I had the subject right in front of me, and then it was perfect. It's like she like timed it or something. It's like the universe timed it. I was like, okay, this is perfect. I'm just going to take the shot, and it's like, this is my subject and the leading line to the other subjects, and then like that whole depth going across it and everything. And it just worked out. I ended up uploading a whole bunch of different shots of these from my onto my Instagram, and this is just one of those shots that I ended up missing from uploading the last time. I do have a lot of shots that I might re-upload just because I didn't give it that artistic feel that I wanted to give it back then, because as you guys see, let's see real quick, on my Instagram I have 2,858 posts. Within the past now is it 3 years, I've uploaded 2,858 posts. So how I ended up uploading these in the beginning is that I would upload 3 at a time every single day, and that obviously upped my numbers, because if I uploaded one a day, it would be only 365 posts, right? But for a good 2 years, 1 year and a half, 2 years, I ended up uploading 3 at a time. And I was just going through images. I just wanted to upload photos. So it's just like, I don't have a style yet. I'm just going to upload photos, show you guys that I can take pictures, and, this is my travels and everything. And I didn't really think about it as far as, oh, well, this is actually what I'm trying to shoot. This is what I'm getting from this photo. So I ended up just uploading photos that I thought were interesting and really cool. But now that I am actually talking about my photos, I can actually get back to actually figuring out what I really want to say with every single one of my photos. So this is one of the things that I'm going to do. I'm going to end up going back to some of my photos, not all of them, because obviously, there's a lot of photos on there. But the really interesting ones, I'll go ahead and re-upload, and I'll show you guys some of those photos. I won't be re-uploading too many, maybe one every week or something like that from all of these like different places, but it will be photos from before I found my style. So my style, as you guys can see on most of my photos, is that I take out all colors except orange and red, and sometimes I add colors like green and blue just so you guys can see the different plants or the sky and stuff like that, but everything else is muted. So it's kind of like almost black and white. And then every single one of my photos, I also upload it in black and white, so you guys get that different perspective as well. So that's one of the things that I will be doing for these images, that I'll be talking about the images before I ended up uploading them or catching my style, and then I'll talk to you guys about those images, and basically we'll see. I'll try to like recollect what I was thinking at that time whenever I took that image. But basically I was just trying to find my style, and once I found it, everything changed. I actually started paying attention to the types of photography and what I wanted to tell with each photo. But yeah, this video is already almost 10 minutes long. So I'll go ahead and call it today, guys. But thanks for tuning in, guys. I really appreciate it. And at the end of these videos, I might have to ask people first, but at the end of the videos, I want to start talking about people's photography, street photography, about people in the past that have inspired me, as well as street photography from people that I really admire, that I want to go ahead and talk about their photos in this Instagram and YouTube. So as you guys know, this will be uploaded both on Instagram and YouTube. Instagram first and then YouTube, and I'll go ahead and talk about people's photos and stuff like that too, because there's a lot of people out there that inspire me to keep doing street photography, and they just support my Instagram and everything every day, and I just really appreciate it. I want to give them back by talking about them and talking about their photos, and just basically making a community where everybody can just come and talk about each other's photos and how much, oh, this is awesome, I really love this, like, because one of the cool things about street photography is that there's people that do it all over the world, and you get to experience that part of the world through their eyes, which is amazing. Just experiencing all these like different perspectives of what people find that is beautiful and stuff like that. I just really, really admire that. So I'll go ahead and talk about that next time, but I hope you guys have a good night, and I'll catch you guys next time.